everybody, my name is Jonathan and welcome to Barely Unboxed. Today we're back with another MotU Monday video, and I had to get this video out as soon as I received this, which you probably will see in the thumbnail. This is the new Mattel Creations Despara figure. Here's a silhouette. Now, I ordered a couple things from Mattel, and they both came together in like a bigger box. But I have seen some people are being shipped their items just within this box because it has like a spot for the shipping label. And I find that really uncomfortable when you're ordering something and it shows the item on the outside of the box. I wish they would stop that. It seems very irresponsible because especially if this was to be something that was really highly sought after, that could end up getting stolen in the mail, you know? So anyway, I'll get off my little soapbox there. Alright, so we also have some other of the cartoon collection figures, which I'm totally into, and I thought it was very fitting to take a look at Catra today as well, since we're looking at Despara, and they both work for, you know, the Horde. And we also have Ram Man, which is a really nice figure. I just recently saw this showing up at Ross for like, I think like $8 or something like that. And I had already ordered mine, unfortunately, from Amazon. I ordered all of these both of these were from Amazon, and then this Clawful I picked up at Target. Now, there's a Target near me that has a bunch of this available. There's actually a couple Targets, so this is the cartoon collection version, and he looks very different in the cartoon than he did in his action figure form. Now, the thing I'm actually even more excited for in this video, and you definitely saw these in the thumbnail, is I was at Value Village recently, and they had this pack for only $10.49 of original He-Man and She-Ra figures. So we got the original She-Ra, we have Prince Adam, Teela, Evil-Lyn, and I believe this is Glimmer right here on the end. Now, I don't think there's any, they don't seem to have any of their accessories much, except for maybe like their clothing items, and there is a cape in here, but I think the cape might belong to Bo from Princess of Power of She-Ra figures. So, I'm very, very excited for these, but I think, I'm trying to think what I want to open and look at first. Well, I think to start, I do want to open this box, at least, and see what the figure looks like. And I think, that way, you know, you can see my reaction to it when I open it. But I think these packaging on these collectible Mattel Creations Masters of the Universe figures, I think they're resealable. They're like meant to be taken out and looked at and then put back in. Yeah, I think, yep, that looks like it. Alright, so there was just some cardboard there holding it in place. And here we go. And there is Despara. So it says Masters of the Universe. It has the She-Ra 40th anniversary logo, which is also, I'm going to put this box over here, which is also on the packaging for these two as I knock that over. And if you see, it has, you know, Horde Prime up there. So this is Despara from the Evil Horde. Now, this is not a cartoon collection figure, but I'm making an exception. I've been trying to only stick to collecting the cartoon collection figures, because going forward, I think that's what I really, really like. I like the ones that look like the way they do in the cartoons. But here's the back. It has this gorgeous artwork. All of the Masters of the Universe figures always have like this amazing artwork. And then here you can see there's Horde, and that's Horde Prime is who that is. This is Horde. I think I said that was Horde Prime. No, that's Horde, and then Horde Prime, I believe, is who that is. I don't know too much about, like, I guess you could say the comic book version or the action figure versions of figures. I know more about how they are in the cartoons. I don't know if we ever saw Horde Prime in either of the original cartoons, so you'll have to let me know down in the comments if he is. I'm curious. So this is really cool. The artwork of Despara is, you can see it's glossy, but then the rest of this isn't. And then the logo is glossy too. So it's very cool. We will open that up very soon. But I think the first thing I want to look at, because I'm so excited about these, are these retro original figures. So let's take a look at these. Let me just rearrange some things here so we can kind of hopefully see everything on camera. So we're going to open up this bag of figures. I am so excited. So they stapled the cape into the tag. I hate it when they do that. They do it all the time with doll hair. It's ridiculous. Okay. So, yeah, this cape, I'm not sure. I think this is her cape. But there's this thing over her shoulder here that it looks like a quiver with arrows in it. I think that belongs to Bo. I'm going to have to look this figure up. I never, ever had the original She-Ra dolls when I was a kid. And I always wanted one, but I was a very self-conscious child. I always felt really weird about having girl toys, but I wanted them. And there were a few that I did have. Like I did have Huckleberry Pie from Strawberry Shortcake, and I had some Care Bears, which are generally just for boys and girls. But I also had some My Little Pony, but not very many. All right, so I got all this off so we could just kind of take a look at the doll, because technically these are figures, but they have hair, and the hair actually feels rather nice. I mean, it's gonna need washed, but it's in far better condition than I thought. Look at this beautiful She-Ra figure. She is missing her gem. I feel like I might be able to replace that with like some sort of new gem or something, because I think, yeah, so Glimmer has her gem. We'll take a look at Glimmer here too. But I think if I look online at this, what this figure originally looked like, I think I'll be able to find a replacement pretty easily if I go to like the craft store. So she has, there is some marks on her boots. I don't know if that's paint wear or dirt. I am going to clean these up, which I'm really excited for. And I'll take some pictures once they're clean. I don't know if I'll have time for that in the video today. We'll see. I'm a little pressed for time. I'm kind of doing this last minute. But that's She-Ra. And then there's this cape, which I think is her cape. And it has like this beautiful iridescent fabric with this tool up here. I am going to look real quick at pictures of her online because I want to see which items actually go to her. So I looked online. This is She-Ra's cape, and it looks like the way that it goes on her I'm looking at the picture. It kind of goes around her arms. I'm not sure how that works. I think because it's elastic and it's an old figure, I think the elastic has been basically, it's just not good anymore. But I believe it goes around her arms like that. And the only thing she is missing is her headpiece and her sword. And did she have a shield? Let me see. Yeah, so she would have had a sword and that she held in this hand right here, and then she would have had a shield that clipped onto this hand, and then her helmet. And you could flip the helmet upside down, and it was also a ring for you to wear. Just the fact that she does still have the skirt and the cape is amazing to me. And I'm so excited to add that to my collection. This is my first retro original She-Ra figure that I'm adding to my collection. And then we have Glimmer. And I looked at the pictures of Glimmer, and it looks like she had some like shoulder pieces that matched this little skirt thing, and she's missing those. But her hair is in remarkable condition, and it does have dried up a rubber band in it. You can see like the elastic that was originally in her hair has definitely fallen apart a bit. Or a lot, I should say. And I can replace that with a different... I have just normal elastics I can put in when I wash her hair. But she's really pretty. She has her gem in her chest. And I think she also originally came with some weapons. The pictures I saw online didn't have them. But these have like an action where you can twist them and then they do like an attack. Does She-Ra have that? Yes. Glimmer's worked far better than She-Ra's, it seems. Alright, so there we have She-Ra, who doesn't really want to stand up. And we have Glimmer. I am so excited. The faces on them, the paint looks like perfect. It doesn't look like it's messed up at all. And yeah, this goes with Bo. So if I ever find a Bo figure, the chances are he won't have this item because it's so hard to get figures with their items. So I have this if I ever find him. And hopefully I do. That would be amazing. Alright. The rest of the figures in here are all basically Masters of the Universe He-Man figures and not the She-Ra Princess of Power figures. And we have Prince Adam. That is amazing. He has his cloth vest. The fact that he has this cloth vest still with him is amazing to me. And he does have some hair from, I think, She-Ra wrapped around his neck. I'll have to try to get that off. Let's see. There we go. Maybe it's stuck. There we go. Okay. Now, these original ones had really squishy heads. And then these also had the action. And his legs are on like a rubber band, and they're actually pretty intact. I'm not going to mess with them too much. He looks amazing. He doesn't have any of his accessories, though. I don't know if he might have come with a sword and a shield. But you can see this is just the normal arms they used for He-Man and other figures because it has this gauntlet. And they just painted it to look like he's wearing a white shirt. I love it. I wonder if he'll stand. He does. Yes. Okay. And then we also have Teela, whose legs are very, very loose because of these elastics that are inside. I don't know if she'll be able to stand, but there is Teela. She looks awesome. And these also have the attack. action. Very cool. And her head is actually hard. It's not squishy. And then we have, last but not least, we have Evil-Lyn. And Evil-Lyn looks just, oh my god, I love her face. I love the original's face. And then if you look, these both have the same exact body. They just have a different molded head, and they've been painted a different color so that they look like their respective characters. Now, originally she would have had a staff, I believe, and this Tila would have had a headdress that looked like a snake, and a staff, and a shield, I think, or a sword and a shield. I can't remember. But these are amazing. There is a way to redo the rubber bands inside them, and I might do that someday because they're not going to stand up very well. But, okay. They are standing, so that is awesome. This was such an awesome find because $10 for 5 figures. They were basically like $2 each. And that is a steal in my book, especially for these She-Ra ones. So I'm very excited. Now I do have some of the other figures that are newer. Like this is probably the newest Evil-Lyn. It's the Cartoon Collection Evil-Lyn. And there they are side by side. Their colors are very different. This is what she looked like in the cartoon for the most part. And then this is what the original figure looked like. And then the cartoon was based on the figures. So they did differ a little bit from their cartoon counterpart. And I also have the Tila. So there is Tila next to herself, and you can see she does have the sword and the shield, and their outfits are very similar colors, so very cool. And then the last one I have, I forgot to grab him. I forgot to grab Prince Adam, but I do have She-Ra here. So this is the Cartoon Collection She-Ra next to her original doll or figure counterpart. You can see there's some similarities, definitely. They did release a newer figure where she had actual hair, but I don't have that one. So, but anyway, that's the comparison of those. So let's go ahead and put these back. And we'll start looking at the inbox figures. I'm so excited to have these. Oh my god, I'm so excited to add these to my collection. And then having the original Prince Adam and then the Tila, it's so cool. I'm really so excited. We'll put Evil-Lyn down here. If she'll stand. Alright, so I think the first one I really want to look at is Catra. So this is the new Princess of Power branded here on the back. Masters of the Universe. Well, He-Man in the Masters of the Universe is Catra, which is Jealous Beauty. It's part of the 40th anniversary of She-Ra, so it does have Horde up here. And then it says Cartoon Collection. And this one has a sticker over top of the barcode, so I don't know if that would work. And this is sort of ripping. Let me see if I can get it off. Okay. So there is the original barcode if you want to look that up. Luckily I was able to get that sticker off. And it does show the other figures in this line. I still need to get Leech. And I looked at Faker in my last MotU Monday video. And we also looked at Prince Adam and Cringer in that one. So that was a fun video. Now, this tells you what episode the figure was seen in, because usually they come with an accessory, and this is seen on Cats, and there's Catra turning into her cat form. And I love how it says, modernizing and celebrating the original 80s She-Ra Princess of Power animated series. And then you have Catra's cat form. I will say it's really small. It's not in scale, and I wish it was. I would have paid extra to get one that was in scale. Because it's just kind of weird that it's not in scale. Alright, so this does come with the comic book, which has threading on it, and it's coming undone a little bit. And it also shows the cross sail on the back. It's Onslaught to Snake Mountain. And I believe we may have looked at this one in the Faker video. So that's what the artwork on the inside looks like. They're really short comics. They just kind of give you a quick little story. I love these. I think these are really awesome. I always keep all of them, even the duplicates. Alright, and then we also get the paper that shows all the points of articulation that can be removed, all the parts. It's very cool. And they're always figure specific for whichever figure you've opened. And get her out of here. They're always held in by fasteners for some reason. Here is Catra out of her packaging. Oh my god, she looks so good. Look at that face. And she has her hair up in a ponytail. And then she has the mask. And when she moves that down over her eyes, she turns into her cat form. And it has a rubber cape. And the cape, when you take the head off, you can take the cape off. And then for articulation, she has the ball jointed head, which is really nice. And then she has the shoulder joints that can go up and out and spin around. The elbow can kind of bend backwards a tiny bit, and then is almost a 90-degree angle. And then her hand can spin, and it can go up and down as well. And she does have two hands that can hold things, but she doesn't come with any items to hold. There is a waist joint, but she's wearing, I think there's a waist joint. She's wearing this rubber piece over top of her molded on body armor. And then her legs can go out. They're on sort of a swivel joint, and then she has the knee articulation, and the knee can spin as well. And then the boot can also spin because that's removable, and then the ankle can go up and down and spin. So she has a lot of articulation. I love that they look like the older figures, but they have so much articulation, and I just think that's so cool. And the articulation is really well done. Like the knees, they didn't used to be. The knees on the female figures especially used to be really like noticeable, but they're not that much anymore. Alright, so let's try to put her headpiece down. So she would move that headpiece over her eyes. Wow, this is really difficult to get positioned right. Like that. And then she would transform into her cat form, which is a really cool figure. I just wish it was bigger. If they would have included this bigger, you can kind of see the mask should be the same size. So it needed to be just a tad bit bigger. But it's still, it's still cool to have a little representation of her in her cat form. It's a really well made figure. I love it. I think Catra is such a cool character in the original cartoon. And even the newer one that came out for Netflix, I think all the characters in that are really, they're different from the original in a lot of ways, but they're very cool. So, all right, so there's Catra. All right, and now next we will look at Ram Man, I think. So this is the packaging for Ram Man. It has the She-Ra logo up here. And then this is a little bit older. It doesn't say which episode this is. This was before I think they started doing that on the packaging, or maybe it's just slightly different packaging per like region. I don't know if it's regional. And then here's the barcode, the cross sale. We looked at She-Ra. Obviously, we just saw her. But I did look at her in a previous video. I still need to get Man Catra. I love this figure of him. And then it shows the items that you get. It doesn't say anything. I think this is international packaging or something. I don't know. Alright, wow, that came off really clean. Look at that. That's actually really cool. So he comes with this kind of She-Ra themed comic called Horde Invasion. And here's the inside. There's Hordak. It's very cool. And he even has He-Man and Teela and other people in here from those. That's all it is. It's just that. It's really cool though. And then you get the little paper talking about all the parts that can be swapped and moved around. This is a chunky figure. Very chunky. Okay. Let's get him out of here. Okay, so here he is right out of his packaging. And he looks pretty cool, I gotta say. I love the way they did his face. And then he has this large plastic armor piece that goes over top. And he has really thick looking legs, and they look like the way his old legs looked, because the original figure you would push him down on the legs and then he would spring up. But they don't have that in the in this figure. So as far as articulation goes, his head is also on a ball joint. And I can't really see, but let's take... Oh, okay, that came off super easily. So there's what he looks like without that. And then his articulation is very similar to Catra's, just very chunky. So he has like that. He has the waist turn. The legs are a little more restricted. Oh, jeez. And they're really easy to come apart. So that's supposed to happen. So don't get too upset if you think you broke your figure. All right, so he can't really sit very well because of the rubber on this. But he does have a knee joint, and the boots are on the spin, and the ankle joint also can spin and go up and down. So, I mean, he's pretty awesome. I like how chunky he looks with the armor. That is a really, really well-made figure, I think. And then he comes with this piece, and I'm not sure, it doesn't tell you what it is on this packaging. But that's what he comes with. I don't know, there's no handle really for him to hold this. Maybe he can, I don't know if he's supposed to hold it. The back of it just looks like this. So, I don't know, it's kind of, and in some ways it's kind of a throwaway piece for me. Not that I'm going to throw it away, but it's just like very like not much you can do with that. It just looks like a piece of plastic, a chunk of plastic. All right, so I like that figure a lot. Just the accessory is kind of lame. But he has the armor. He looks super awesome with the armor. Alright. So next we'll look at Clawful. I had been putting off getting this one for a while because I kept seeing him everywhere and I kept thinking, well, he's probably going to be available and I'll just pick him up eventually. And then, so I picked him up when he was on a sale at Target a while back. It's been a little while, but I've held on to him to open in a video. And this one does say what episode, as seen on Driel's Return. And then it has the cross sale. Obviously, we looked at Evil-Lyn. I just showed her earlier in the video. I don't have Spikor or Web Store yet. I need to get those. And then he gets the Horn of Evil. There's his barcode. And let's take a look at him. Here is his comic, Honor Amongst Thieves, and there's Clawful right there. And this is kind of I think it's the same artist as all the other comics for these cartoon collection, which are pretty cool. I like this artwork. It's very cartoony looking. There's always a lot of guest star characters in this that aren't part of the line for like the cross sale. I noticed the older packaging isn't as thick as the newer ones for the She-Ra. The She-Ra packaging is really thick cardstock, which I kind of appreciate for collectability at least. There's all his removable parts. So, I mean, I've never done it in a video because I find it kind of goofy, but you can swap all their parts. Like you could give Clawful Catra's head, I think, or no. I think only the male figures and the female figures can be swapped between each other because of the way that they're made. But I could give Ram Man's head to this guy, Clawful. Alright, let me get him out of here. And here is Clawful out of his packaging. He's pretty cool. He has the claw hands. And I love the way his head looks. It's so detailed. It's so cool looking. I think he's kind of cute. He's actually really cute. But yeah, he has all the same articulation that we just looked at on the other ones. And then his harness can be removed, if you take his head off, I think, and his arms and the waist. You could put that on other figures. He just looks really cool. And then he has the Horn of Evil, which is also really cool looking. It has this awesome skull on it. It kind of looks like a cornucopia. And apparently he can hold this in his claw. I don't know. Let's find out. Okay. Yep. He can hold that in his claw. So, very cool. It would have been really cool if his jaw opened up and down, though. He does have a tongue inside there, which is really cool looking. The detail on that is really, really, really cool. I love the colors on him, too. They're very bright and vivid. He just looks really cool. And he looks very different than, the action figure Clawful, which I have in my collection. I should have brought him over for a comparison, but I didn't. But there is Clawful. He looks awesome. All right, so we have one left. If you were waiting for this, now's the time. So let's take a look at Despara. So I don't know if I said earlier, but Despara is She-Ra. Spoiler alert. Sorry. So this is Princess Adora is who Despara is. And there should be, I don't see it in here. Oh, okay. I guess I thought she came with an alternate head, but this is a mask on her that can come off. So that's pretty cool. So the way this packaging works is it's not taped or stapled or anything. You just slip this out. It's Very cool. Love that. And then you have the comic book, which does show She-Ra and then Despara, Phantoms of Despair. Let's take a look at this. This is really cool. And it doesn't show anything on the back, any other figures, because this is kind of like a standalone thing. Now, the artwork in these is more like comic book style. But there's that. I actually like this artwork a lot better than the other cartoony ones. Like, look how cool that is, She-Ra. Very, very cool. And then She-Ra's fighting Despara. That's really, really cool. I'll have to read that later and figure out how that is. I think she might be dreaming, possibly. It's probably a dream. But yeah. So then when you take that off, this just pops right out. And I love that because then I can keep this packaging. And I can put her away if I don't want her out, or I can, if like at some point in my collecting I realize maybe I don't want to keep all these figures, then I can put it away and sell it. All right, let me get her out of here and see. You can just close it all back up, and you can put that in storage if you want to keep it. It's really easy to keep it. All right, so here is Despara right out of her packaging. I gotta say, first impressions, she's really cool. Her joints are gonna be pretty much exactly the same as all the other figures that we looked at today. Yep, she has the knee joints. The boots can swivel. She didn't come with like a paper telling about what parts can be swapped, so I'm assuming it's going to be all kind of the same, like the boots, the head, the waist, and stuff like that. But this cape feels really interesting. It's got this like texture to it, which you might be able, you can see it on camera, and it just feels really. It's really rubbery, especially even compared to Catra's cape. It's really rubbery. She comes with these two swords, and they're huge. They're really cool looking. They have red here on the hilt, and then the swords actually can go in the back here. It's a really tight fit, I will say. I hope it doesn't rub the paint off. But that looks pretty cool. Like that. That looks pretty cool. And then obviously she can hold the swords in her gripping hands. All right. And there she is holding the swords. Very cool. And then you can see there's her hair, the blonde hair. And let's see, how does this come off? Wow, it just pops right off. It looks like it kind of attaches to her ears. Like there's these little ear holders. All right, so here, we'll do it this way. And there is Princess Adora's face when she's Despara. That is really cool. I love the short hair. She looks really cool. Let me look at her up close. Yeah, that's pretty awesome. And we can bring in, so you can see them side by side. I will say the head on the She-Ra figure is like a little bigger, kind of. Looks a little bigger. Their eyebrows are like almost the same though, which is really cool. It could just be the hair is giving it the illusion that it's bigger. But that was the battle in the comic book, as she's fighting herself as Despara. So this is definitely a cool figure. She's going to be displayed in my collection with my He-Man and She-Ra villains. I love it. I think she looks super cool. The swords are very shiny. You can see it reflecting the light. It's a very bright day out today. It's very nice. So I'm going to have to go out and enjoy this weather after my video. But yeah, there we have it. We looked at a lot of figures today, including some older ones. But let's actually put these two together. So they look pretty cool together with the red and the black and the purple. Purple is my favorite color, and red used to be. So this figure is really cool. Also, Magneto from the X-Men is red and purple. Very, very similar. In fact, like, she kind of looks like she could be like the same exact colors as Magneto. I love it. All right, and then Clawful. So there are all the figures that we looked at today that were new. But then we also looked at these, and these ones are just so cool to have. I'm really excited to have found these, even without their weapons and everything. But I think obviously my favorite of the bunch is going to be the She-Ra and the Glimmer. Like, it is so cool that I have these figures. I cannot wait to wash their hair and clean them up. I think they're going to look so much better, and I can't wait to add them to my collection. So you'll have to let me know, out of all the figures today, even the ones that I showed, I'm going to put her off to the side though, since, you know, these are just the ones that we were really looking at today. You'll have to let me know down in the comments who your favorite was today. My favorite, like I said, was definitely my She-Ra figure. I'm so excited to add this to my collection. Like, you have no idea. I've really wanted some of these older She-Ra figures, and they are impossible to find around here. Thrift stores never have them. We don't have a lot of toy shows. There is a toy show I keep missing. It's always happening on a day that I can't go. And I'm hoping the next one I'll get to go. And if I do, I'll take you all with me. We'll record some video, and we'll see if we can find more She-Ra figures at a reasonable price. Because $2 for this, like just a little over $2, that was a way too good of a deal. I think I even used a coupon, so I may have saved even more. They might have been like less than $2 each. So, well, there you have it. Definitely leave a comment down below. I love hearing from you all. If you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button. Hit the bell for notifications so you get notified every time I put up a new video. Also, again, just let me know, who is your favorite? I love hearing that from you all. And, you know, share the video with anyone you think might like to see some of the cartoon collection or some retro original She-Ra and He-Man figures. So take care out there. I love you guys. Bye.